Joining us now to look at all this more closely is Einar Tangen. He's a senior fellow at the Taihe Institute and chairman of Asia Narratives. Good to see you, Einar. Now, give us an overview of the goals of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and specifically this year's summit.
Well, Sally, this is really about trade bridges rather than tariff walls. There are 20 economic and documents that are awaiting signature, and it's all about striving towards sustainable peace and prosperity, development, energy, anti-terrorism, and as was said before, peace and harmony.
Now, of course, Chinese President Xi Jinping has had a flurry of bilaterals on the sidelines of the summit so far, not least with President Putin. What does this meeting tell us about the relationship between China and Russia?
Well, the relationship is good. There have been warm greetings on both sides, but they talk about economic issues. There's nothing about warfare. There's nothing about putting together a defensive bloc or anything like that. They have complained that they do not like to have outside interference into their internal affairs. And they've reiterated this idea that in a multipolar world, of which the SCO is a small microcosm, the idea of respecting nations, making sure that they are secure and have a path towards development is absolutely key for this kind of peace and prosperity.
And on Wednesday, she also met one-on-one with the leaders of Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan. What do we know about those particular meetings? Why is it so important for China to support Central Asia, particularly at this time?
Well, regional peace and security is why the SCO was originally started. It has morphed. It has now looked at the underlying premises of security and peace, and that is prosperity. They have seen great results from the kind of infrastructure that they've put in, what we call slow transportation, rather than just taking some resources from point A to point B. Having these roads, bridges, and rail allows local communities to start developing. China is pushing out a lot of industries that are no longer able to compete in China globally because of higher wages. But these industries are very much welcome in these areas, especially SCO, but not only, throughout the Belt and Road Initiative. So this isn't a change. It is simply a continuation of China's policy that the best way of spreading peace is through economic development.
You mentioned there that China has tied security with economic aspects. The Belt and Road Initiative was launched in Kazakhstan. How has that played into China's influence in the region, and what other joint actions are on the table?
Well, it was never about influence. It was about peace. China saw that without development, without allowing these many of these landlocked areas to start developing, you could have, in fact, security issues. So, pushing peace and prosperity for China is the surest way of assuring security. And that's, there's so many instances of that. Right now, 80% of the rail transport that's going to Europe actually goes through Kazakhstan. It will hit the Caspian Sea, and then it will go across and through other members of the SCO. So it's a joint effort. It's not about my borders versus your borders. It's about how we can move trade efficiently and effectively across large areas, not only to benefit Europe, but also Middle East and Africa.
Going back to the SCO itself, the organization is set to admit Belarus as a member. What does this particular admission mean for the SCO, and will it keep expanding? Why would countries want to join this, what you call is a small microcosm, given that there are so many other organizations globally for countries to join?
Well, yes, but apparently the recipe is very appealing. You have a whole bunch of countries who are sitting on the sidelines saying that they would like to join. And it's not just the SCO, it's also Belt and Road Initiative and many of the other programs that the China and their partners are pushing, like the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which provides funding on a project basis rather than political basis, is really kind of transforming the needs, or answering the needs that are out there among countries. And that's why they're interested. This is not about any kind of political or military alliance. It's simply about how do we work on a consensus basis to create peace and prosperity, and stay away from the differences, accept them, understand them, have people-to-people exchanges, and hopefully a much better world.